Born. Huh. Wait, hold on a second. David's the youngest. So how that David could be the firstborn? Mustafa?
Precisely, good point. That shows that the Bible is a bundle of contradictions. In Exodus chapter 4 verse 22, Israel or Jacob is referred to as the firstborn. Okay, so what this is within the context that they are all over the place in terms of is Jacob the firstborn? Or is it David is the firstborn? Make your mind up. Or is it Jesus is the firstborn?
It's easy. Look, Mustafa, if you knew the Bible, you wouldn't even be making this mistake. This is going to be
I know the Bible. It's not embarrassing. You're the one who's being embarrassed by the means of. You accepted.
So this is what
you're the one.
Let me finish. So this is what it means. Firstborn is a title of preeminence, supremacy. So yes, God is firstborn because he's supreme over all creation. Duh. So when Jesus is called the firstborn of all creation, he's the supreme one of all creation. It just makes
That's him adding into it.
You know what I'm saying?
That's him adding his premeditated understanding into it.
So
By definition, according to James D.G. Dunn, don't argue with me, top New Testament scholars, he's making reference that it's in terms of the new creation, the new principalities, the new foundations. It's when he returns. Hence it says he's the firstborn, you see, from the dead. Doesn't it say, let me explain to you. When they say he's the firstborn from the dead, what does that tell you? That means that on his return, when he has... Yeah, within the context he's telling you.
Where?
Because you know why? Because he's telling you the principalities, the foundations.
Why you keep throwing
but it's because...
Look, I'm going to give you my phone.
Okay, so when you're firstborn...
No,
okay,
here.
sorry, don't worry about the melodrama. When you're talking about the term firstborn, by necessity, and it's understood to be in Revelation, he's referred to be the firstborn from the dead. I think I was reading it yesterday in Revelation chapter. Yes. So when you're firstborn from the dead, so what does this mean then? That means, hang on, whoa, no, one minute. Let me speak now. Okay. So when you're the firstborn from the dead, that necessitates on his return. So it's substantial. Listen to me. It substantiates my point. So when you're the firstborn from the dead, that means when you've come back, when he will come back. So that's when he will be ruling. That's when he will be ruling according to the new dominions. Yeah, I don't know why you should be. It's self-explanatory. Within the context, within the context in Revelation chapter 1 and in Revelation chapter 5, it makes mention that he's the firstborn from the dead. Okay, let me finish. Let me finish, please. So
I can't see the word new here, bro.
But it's in the context determines that. The context is determining it from the passage. Because listen, this is just going around in circles. Listen, when you are dead, when you have died, when you're the firstborn from the dead, which Jesus is according to Christians, you all believe that, don't you?
Yes.
Right? Yes. Excellent. So by definition, if he's the firstborn from the dead, in this particular context, it's referring to the new dominions, the new. Hang on, the new dominions, the new principalities. What are those principalities? So when he comes and rules upon mankind and judges according to what God has revealed to him. So it's in that context it's making reference to. And why am I saying that, which we're going around in too many circles, is that when this is the definition in Revelation is that he's the firstborn from the dead, he then comes and then he has that new creation. Who is that new creation? Those who will follow him, those who he will have the principalities and the dominions that he will rule upon. Because we know Jesus did not rule at the time that he was there. He only ruled at when he returns. So within the context of this, and this is not me saying it, James D.G. Dunn, one of the greatest New Testament scholars of the 20th century.
Okay, I would like to see that quote from J.D. Dunn that says exactly what you said. Okay. So this is what we get. I guess we can end it because you said it's going in circles. I'll say my point, you just said yours.
Yeah, good point.
Guys, you guys can see what happens to you when you don't read the Bible. You see what happens to you when you can't read context, and you see what happens to you when you get a little too ahead of yourself and you start saying things that doesn't end up in the Bible. This is why you get embarrassed on camera when you say things that you can't prove. You just can't prove it. Don't say, it's talking about, it's new creation. Notice how, first of all, guys, I wasn't even the one that brought this up. He came here. He had the nerve to come to Colossians 1 to try to prove that Jesus wasn't God when it calls him creator.
It doesn't call him creator. It doesn't call him creator. My God. He's all over.
It's not all of creation. It's talking about the ages. What does ages mean, Mustafa? Times. So Jesus created the times? So all of time came into existence through Jesus?
So even just say, for example,
Hey, did I interrupt your summary? This my,
I haven't summarized it.
Let me cook. So he came here, and it shows, brother, how you butchered your position by coming to a verse that shows that Jesus is divine, Jesus is creator, and Jesus is supreme over all of creation. There isn't even a question about it in this verse. You got yourself in trouble. Now, how did we get here, though? We got here because he wanted to run away from how Jesus distinguishes himself from the prophets. He tried to say that Son of God is just a general term, that anybody is a son of God, which in some sense, he actually does have a case. That Son of God, there's many senses that you can be sons of God. Angels are sons of God. Adam was a son of God. Prophets are sons of God. Kings of Israel are sons of God. Israel, the nation, are sons of God. Sons by the tons. But there's something that Jesus says. He says that God sent his son into the world, his only son. His only son. That the world should be saved through him. Wait a second. Why does Jesus say he's the unique son, the only son, when he has many? Why does Jesus make a distinction, which he didn't answer, by the way, in Mark 12, where Jesus says that God sent his prophets. They killed his prophets. They murdered his prophets. They disrespected his prophets. Then the owner says, you know what? There's one more. I'm going to send my son. Wait, Jesus? We're all sons. You're just a prophet like them. Why is it that you're making this distinction? Because there is a true distinction. That Jesus is the Son of God in the sense that he shares the same divine essence as God. He is the Son of the Father, eternally begotten from the Father's essence, full of grace and truth, which is why there's none like him. Which is why he's the unique Son of God who came into the world. He's different from the rest. There ain't nobody like him. Not Moses, not Abraham, not Muhammad. It's only Jesus. That's how we got here. So.
Are you finished? Well, let me finish up. Let me just finish.
Did.
No, I didn't make a summary. That's a conclusive summary. Let me make a summary as well. Okay, so notice everybody. What did we establish over here? When he cited 1 Colossians 15.
Stop saying
okay. All right, doesn't make a difference. Okay, this 1 Colossians 15. What did he say? He said that everything was made by Jesus and for Jesus and through Jesus. So I then said to him, and he admitted afterwards, it's all been recorded, I said the Greek word there is dia, which means by the means of. It's a big distinction. But it's not, he is the source. So then he afterwards, what did he say? He said, yeah, by the means of. He didn't say, no, by him. It's a big difference if you're doing something through someone, or if you're doing something by yourself, that you can then make that claim. So he exceeded that point without even realizing, and we're very fortunate that with that, so 1 minute, and we're very fortunate this has been recorded for everybody's attention, for the genuine people. Second point, when we went through 1 Colossians 15, which I brought up initially to substantiate a particular point, it was to show that when Jesus returns, because it says he will be the firstborn from the dead, and I've cited Revelation, which he accepted. He accepted in Revelation, he's referred to as the firstborn from the dead. So it's in this context that when he returns, and he will be the ruler over the principalities and the foundations and this new earth which will be presented to him. What is this new earth? This new earth is when he returns. It's not, because in Mark's gospel, he says that, in Mark, I think it's Mark chapter 3, when he says that God created the heavens and the earth. He didn't say, and I created the heavens and the earth. So that distinguishes between the two. And the other point that he made, and I'll wrap it up very quickly, the term Son of God. Now he's making a pre-assumption that the term Son of God necessitates that Christ is a distinct and unique Son of God in a way which is not the case as you would find in the normal context of things. I cited Luke 3:38, where Adam too is referred to as the Son of God. In Exodus chapter 4 verse 22, Jacob is also referred to as the Son of God. So the Son of God is defined in Matthew chapter 5 verse 9. It says, blessed are the peacemakers, for they too will be known as the sons of God. So the term sons of God is a ubiquitous title for those who represent God. Then he cited the term Son of God in John chapter 3 verse 16. For God so ever loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. Okay, let's deal with that. The term there is used is genes, which is unique, and we know Jesus came as hang on, no, it's not monogamous. It's not in there. No, it's not. Let me explain to you. So So can I? Yeah, I haven't finished my summary, guys. Come on. So because I kept quiet while she was speaking. So anyway, so the point now we got to understand is yes, he's unique in the sense that he was born of a virgin birth. But it doesn't necessitate that he's unique in terms of being a son of God, being a literal son of God. Because I've given you the definition. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they too will be called the sons of God. So whoever does God's work is referred to as the son of God. And my very last point, going back to Mark 10:17, which is where the conversation started initially. So when a young man, if for example, all of us are over here, if I was to say Avery is the only person from the United States, that by default would exclude us. So when Jesus says in Mark 10:17, why do you call me good? There's no one good except for God alone. He's excluding that title to himself. By just English grammar. Look, it's a deference of title to God alone. And to substantiate the point, 30 seconds on my plane, in which he says in verse 20, the young man then says to him, teacher, I've kept these commandments since I was a boy. What does this mean? That means to show that he's understood, whoa, Jesus told me off for calling him good teacher. So in verse 20, when I redress Jesus, I simply call him teacher. Hence he has understood that this is a title exclusively for God alone. Wrapped up beautifully, and 10 seconds, John 17:3, for this is eternal life, Jesus is the formula, that they may know you as the only true God and whom you have sent, the apostelios, Jesus Christ. Go to the BibleHub.net, John chapter 17 verse 3, he's referred to as a messenger sent by God. John, God is the only true God, and he, yes, and he, anyway, we can do it. I know you like to speak about the term father. Well, it's just sorry. So I don't want to check. So okay, guys. So no problem. So we finished the conversation over here. We've had a thoroughly enjoyable conversation. So I hope everybody has understood So amongst all of the discussions that we've had, I hope this has been very informative for the people in the context of how conversations develop. There's a lot of background noise. I think he got done big time, in my personal opinion. Watch it. In 1 Colossians 15, the term dia is used. It simply means by the means of. He's the conduit from God makes everything. And these were the titles that the Unitarians Christians make. In addition to this is one up for the biblical Unitarians here. One up for the biblical Unitarians over here. What do we observe over here? We observe the following, that if you go to a Unitarian site called biblicalunitarianism.com, you get all your answers in crushing the notion that Jesus is God, according to Unitarian Christians. So alhamdulillah, I think he got done. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. No, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet because I'm fast spoken for an hour and a half.